This is a rune reading video for LeDiskoLove99. I'm hoping that it will give you a little bit of encouragement, or just something to keep in mind to help you with everything that you're struggling with. I'm really trying to refrain from imposing my own thoughts on, like, in terms of advice or anything on your reading, because it sounds like you're in a place where a lot of things are just really overwhelming, and I could tell you what I do when I feel that way, but I'd like to see if I just hold off and let whatever comes from the runes hopefully give you something meaningful or useful to think about. Yeah. So before if something kind of clicks as I'm doing the reading and I have anything to add, I will, but I want to make this an exercise in trying to let these give you something to work with, rather than me trying to give you my advice. So, let's see. Okay. So this first rune will be your overview of your situation. The next one is your challenge that you're facing. Okay. And the last one is your action called for. Overview, challenge, and action called for. These two are reversed runes, so they generally indicate a blockage or something that's working to kind of impede the energy of these runes. So I will, as always, read the upright and the reversed interpretations for both of those. And this one doesn't have a reversal, it's the same up and down, so. Alright. And just a word of warning, if I have to stop this video at all, it's just because I've got a pretty bad cough still, and whispering tends to trigger it, coughing fits, so hopefully I'll be alright. Okay, so your first one is called AWAS, and it's the rune of defense, and this is your overview. 109. What's this one? Okay. Alright, so as we are tested, we fund the power to avert blockage and defeat. At the same time, we develop in ourselves an aversion to the conduct that creates stress in our lives. If there appears to be an obstacle in your path, consider that even a delay may prove beneficial. Do not be overly eager to press forward, for this is not a time or situation in which you can make your influence felt. Patience is the counsel AWAS offers. Nothing hectic, no acting needy, or lusting after a desired outcome. This rune speaks to the difficulties that can arise at the beginning of a new life. Often it announces a time of waiting, for a spring to fill up with water, for fruit to ripen on the bough. Perseverance and foresight are called for here. The ability to foresee consequences before you act is the mark of a profound person. Avert anticipated difficulties through right action, this rune is saying, and yet even more than we are doers, we are deciders. Once the decision is clear, the doing becomes effortless, for then the universe supports and empowers our action. Receiving Awaz, you are put on notice that through inconvenience and discomfort, growth is promoted. This may well be a trying time. Certainly it is a meaningful one. So set your house in order, tend to business, be clear, and wait on the will of heaven. Okay, so that's your overview. Your challenge is Thursaz reversed. So I'll read the reversed first. Okay, a quickening of your development is indicated here. Yet even in times of accelerated growth, you will have a reason to halt along the way, to reconsider the old and integrate the new. Take advantage of these halts. If you are undergoing difficulties, remember, the nature of your passage depends upon the quality of your attitude, the clarity of your intention, and the steadfastness of your will. Be certain that you are not suffering over your suffering. Drawing Thurisaz reversed demands contemplation on your part. Hasty decisions at this time may cause regrets, for the probability is that you will act from weakness, deceive yourself about your motives, and create new problems more severe than those you are attempting to resolve. Impulses must be tempered by thought for correct procedure. Do not attempt to go beyond where you haven't yet begun. Be still, collect yourself, and wait on the will of heaven. So that's twice that phrase has popped up. Wait on the will of heaven. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but okay. And now the upright version of that. So this is kind of like another side to the same theme, I guess, that is probably being blocked at the moment. Like, you may not be aware of this, but it is going on. Okay. With a gateway for its symbol, this rune indicates that there is work to be done, both inside and outside yourself. Thurisaz represents the frontier between heaven and the mundane. Arriving here is a recognition of your readiness to contact the numinous, the divine, to illuminate your experience so that its meaning shines through its form. Thurisaz is a rune of non-action, thus the gateway is not to be approached and passed through without contemplation. Here you are being confronted with a clear reflection of what is hidden in yourself, what must be exposed and examined before right action can be undertaken. This rune strengthens your ability to wait. Now is not a time to make decisions. Deep transformational forces are at work in this next to last of the cycle runes. Visualize yourself standing before a gateway on a hilltop. Your entire life lies out behind you and below. Before you step through the gateway, pause and review the past, the learning and the joys, the victories and the sorrows, everything it took to bring you here. Observe it all, bless it all, release it all, for it is in letting go of the past that you reclaim your power. Step through the gateway now. Sorry, my arms. Sorry. At a weird angle. Okay. Alright, so that is your challenge. I'm not sure if that's going to make sense. I hope so. And then your action called for is the last one there. This is Fehu, which is the rune of possessions. And again, it's reversed, so I'll read the reversed interpretation first. Okay. There may be considerable frustration in your life if you draw Fehu reversed. A wide range of dispossessions ranging from trivial to severe. You fall short in your efforts. You reach out and miss. You are compelled to stand by and watch helplessly, while what you've gained dwindles away. Observe what's happening. Examine these events from an open perspective and ask, what do I need to learn from this in my life? Even if there is occasion for joy, do not let yourself be seduced into mindless joyousness. Reversed, this rune indicates that doubtful situations are abundant and come in many forms and guises. Here you are being put in touch with the shadow side of possessions. Yet all this is part of coming to be and passing away, and not that which abides. In dealing with the shadow side of Fehu, you have an opportunity to recognize where your true nourishment lies. Okay. And I'll read the upright version. So this is sort of the blocked aspect of this rune. Fehu is a rune of fulfillment, ambition satisfied, love shared, rewards received. It promises nourishment from the most worldly to the sacred and the divine. If the ancient principle, as above so below, holds true, then we are also here to nourish God. This rune calls for a deep probing of the meaning of profit and gain in your life. Look with care to know whether it is wealth and possessions you require for your well-being, or rather self-rule and the growth of a will. Another concern of Fehu is to conserve what has already been gained. This rune urges vigilance and continual mindfulness, especially in times of good fortune, for it is then that you are likely to collapse yourself into your success on the one hand, or behave recklessly on the other. Enjoy your good fortune and remember to share it, for the mark of the well-nourished self is the ability and willingness to nourish others. Okay. So, I don't know, I hope that helps in some way. I guess the only thing that really comes to mind for me is, at times when you feel overwhelmed and like everything in your world, in the outside world, is, out of hand and out of control and just, piling up against you. And there's nothing that you can really do to change it in the immediate future, which is kind of the feeling that I got from your message. When I feel that way in my life, there's a dog barking, the urge, the first thing that we want to do is try and change the details of our situation, to relieve some of the discomfort of what's going on. And that's not always possible. But what is always possible is to change your perception of your situation. There's a saying that a friend of mine really likes to remind me of. It's just a sort of a little slogan. She says, when you change the way you see things, the things you see change. And sometimes, as much as it's, not necessarily a very satisfying answer, sometimes that's all we have control over. I mean, really, that's always all we have control over, but especially in times where, everything seems to be going wrong and we can't see a light at the end of the tunnel, we do always have the power to change our perspective, change what we focus on, and make the best of things in that way. And then once you do that, it's sometimes amazing that, circumstances outside of yourself can start to shift quite quickly. And even if they don't, at least the time spent in between is more palatable for you. So that would really be the only thing that pops to my mind in response to this reading, is just that, just to be patient and hold on and know that this isn't going to last forever. Things will get better, and in the meantime, examine what you can learn from this and see if there's anything you can do to change your outlook so that things are more bearable for you right now. Okay, so I hope this helped in some way, and let me know what you think if you like, and really good luck with everything, and feel free to send me a message anytime if you need to talk or vent or anything.